In an unexpected turn of events, the latest F1 drama has nothing to do with the 4 available seats for 2023. Instead, the entire paddock is buzzing about a massive rule violation by Red Bull. The championship leader has been accused of gaining an unfair advantage in 2021 and this season by massively circumventing the rules, with the consequences potentially disastrous for the sport as a whole. There's also talk of Red Bull filing a defamation lawsuit against other teams, so there's plenty to talk about here. Without further ado, let's take a closer look at the situation, why Red Bull may end up losing a championship as a result of their rule violation, and how other teams may be in trouble now as a result of their words. Rivals believe that 2 teams, Red Bull Racing and Aston Martin, spent more than the $145 million cost cap allowed last year. The former was said to be a more serious case due to the higher numbers involved, not to mention Max Verstappen winning the World Championship for Red Bull. The FIA has not confirmed any violations, and the governing body issued a terse statement in response to the growing debate on the subject on the Friday of the Singapore Grand Prix. It read as follows: "The FIA is currently finalizing the assessment of the 2021 financial data submitted by all F1 teams. Alleged branches of the financial regulations, if any, will be dealt with according to the formal process set out in the regulations. The FIA notes significant and unsubstantiated speculation and conjecture in relation to this matter, and reiterates that the assessment is ongoing and due process will be followed without consideration to any external discussion." In effect, FIA President Mohammed bin Sulayem is laying down a marker to teams calling for harsh penalties. "We know what we're doing, leave us alone." More information should be available in the coming days. Teams that spent less than the limit will be awarded a certificate of compliance, while those who did not will face the consequences, beginning with a formal hearing. Make no mistake, this is a massive story that some regard as a major test of bin Sulayem's leadership. Competitors are adamant that anyone who spent more than the limit would have gained clear advantage not only in 2021, but also as they prepared for the new 2022 regulations, and that the benefits would have continued into 2023. And it is possible that a team that overspent in 2021 will do so again in 2022 if it has pursued a particular philosophy or interpretation of the regulations. It was no coincidence, then, that Mercedes boss Toto Wolff met with Ferrari equal Mattia Binotto to discuss the situation just before the first race of the season in Singapore. Indeed, they had been aware of concerns about Red Bull's 2021 spending for several weeks and have been quietly monitoring the situation ever since. Safe to say, both men want the FIA to punish them severely. Meanwhile, an enraged Red Bull team boss Christian Horner said in Singapore on Saturday morning that his team had taken a dim view of the remarks made and was prepared to consider alternatives if Mercedes and Ferrari did not back down. Unless there is a clear withdrawal of those statements, we will be taking it incredibly seriously and looking at what the options available to us are. It is absolutely unacceptable to be making comments of the type that were made yesterday that are totally defamatory to the team, to the brands, and even Formula One. Horner explained that he was particularly perplexed as to where the rivals got their information about potential rule violations when even Red Bull was unsure if there was a problem. Nonetheless, it appears that there is a problem, as many sources all speak in unison. So, what is the FIA going to do? This is the first significant test of F1's budget cap rules. If any team is found to have exceeded the spending limits, the FIA has a number of penalties at its disposal. These include fines and additional spending restrictions in future seasons. Point deductions for the season in question are also available for both the team and the driver. Verstappen beat Hamilton to the title by only 8 points last year, so a change to the championship outcome 9 months after the finale is possible. But don't get too excited, Hamilton fans. While it is a possibility, such a decision would most certainly spark a massive crisis in the sport, with Red Bull likely to take the ruling to court and withdraw from competition entirely unless it was overturned yet again. Last year's championship was already marred by the FIA's F1 race director Michael Massey's mishandling of the title-deciding Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. He was fired after the sport's governing body admitted he made a mistake in scheduling a final lap restart. Another incident like this could be disastrous for F1. Meanwhile, Christian Horner maintains that there is no problem and that the team is confident in what it submitted to the FIA in March. Since then, there has been an ongoing debate about the numbers and what is and isn't included in the cap. Key points of contention include how to pay those who have been second to non-F1 technology projects but are occasionally called back to work in the main business. Given the lack of precedent, no one knows which penalties from a shopping list of possible sanctions outlined in the rules are likely to be applied if Red Bull is found to be in violation. What are your thoughts? Is Red Bull in violation of the rules, or are all reports inaccurate? What should their punishment be if they are found guilty? Let us know in the comment section down below. And if you enjoyed the video, consider liking and subscribing. It helps us out a lot.